Do you have a happy place? I'm in the kitchen and I love being in the kitchen because that's where the food is, and I love to eat food. It's one of the favourite things I do in my life is eat. How about you? I also love being outside because I love to exercise. So one of my favourite places to be is in the mountains because I live in the South Island of New Zealand. I love being in the gym. I love being in a place where I can get puffed and lift heavy. My two favourite places. How about you? Where do you feel happy? And it's interesting because my two favourite places are often the people that I've worked with as an exercise professional. Those two places are their least favourite. A lot of people hate going to the kitchen because that's where the food is, and food is such a horrible part of their life. A lot of people live in a place where they are arguing in their own headspace about food constantly. One of my clients described it to me as a nuclear war. Should I eat this? Shouldn't I eat this? Can I have it? How many calories? How many hours of exercise do I have to do to burn the calories off? Is that a good food or a bad food? I want to have it, but I can't have it. I do have it and I feel guilty. So they hate coming to the kitchen because that war starts when there's food around. There's other people that absolutely hate exercise. They hate going to the gym and never would. Do you know people who have never exercised? Do you have people in your life who never want to exercise? Or do you know people who do exercise but hate it? So they go to the gym but they don't enjoy it. Or they ride their bike or run, or they exercise because they have to, not because they want to. So of course, as an exercise professional, as a lady who's been healthy, fit and strong all of my life, I would love to change that. I have been attempting to do that all of my life, and of course that doesn't work because people will only do what they want to do. But my question is always, have we made food and exercise so complicated, so controversial, so hard, that people just give up on it? So there's so many diets, which one's the right one? There's so many foods, which one's good, which one's bad? And there's so much argument about, well, there's controversy about, some people say that's a good food and other people say if you eat that you'll die. So which one is it? Same with exercise. There's so much controversial information about how you should exercise, when you should exercise, what you should do, what's the best way to exercise. So people just get really confused. And it might not be you, but we live on a planet with 7-8 billion people. And now we're in a position where most people in the world, because once you pass 50, past half, it's become normal to be out of shape, unhealthy, overweight, depressed, diseased, and that's where we're at in the world. More than 50% of people who live on this planet, so 3.5-4 billion people, are overweight, depressed, sick, diseased. I just think that's really sad, particularly for a woman like me who my whole life has been about how can I change that. So I can't change what human adults do, but I feel a responsibility as an adult that our future adults don't have to live like that. So from a food and exercise point of view, but more importantly from a healthy, fit, strong, energetic, lean, happy place, what do we need to do? What living example do we need to be for our kids so that they know that it isn't normal to be fat, to be sick, to be diseased, and to get old and frail and look disgusting? And that's what kids say to me. Old people, they're all shriveled up and wrinkled and they can't play sport. And my grandma and grandpa, they just have to sit and watch us do stuff. And I hear this on a regular basis, and I'd like to change it. Now, I can't change other people, but people, and this is really interesting, people say to me, Rowie, you're on every social media platform every single day, I never miss a day. What's your driving force? Why do you do that? And the other thing that people ask me is how many followers you have, and I don't know. I don't know how many people are interacting with me on a regular basis. The reason I'm standing here right now is I would feel irresponsible as an adult and as an exercise professional and as a person who's been committed to healthy, fit and strong all of my life, that if our young kids now who are going to be our future adults, if they don't have the information, you don't have to use the information. There's no requirement. I don't expect people to believe what I say. But I want people to have the right information to be able to be healthy, fit and strong. Now, when I say the right information, it's not my idea. My study has never been what's the latest diet, what's the latest exercise program, what's the latest fashion, fad, pill, powder, potion program to do. I study anatomy and physiology. How does the human body work? So that whatever diet comes into the world, whatever exercise program is suggested by a social media guru, whatever the gym instructor says, whatever the personal trainer says, whatever the doctor says, or the physiotherapist or the exercise physiologist, or even the psychologist or psychiatrist for that matter, if you understand how the brain works, how the body works, and how they're connected, then is it possible that, doesn't matter what the experts tell you, you will be able to work it out for yourself. And the reason I share that is psychiatrists disagree. They disagree on medication, they disagree on interventions, they disagree on how people should be treated. Every single doctor, whether it's a cardiologist, an endocrinologist, a psychologist, a orthopedic surgeon, doesn't matter what doctor, another doctor with the same degree, with the same number of years of experience will disagree. How do you know who to believe? If one person says do this and the other person says if you do that you'll die, and they're both cardiologists and professors of cardiology, which one do you believe? And that's what I've been dealing with all of my life. Experts who've got opinions, experts who say stuff, but the experts disagree. So that's where my study of anatomy and physiology, that was the inspiration for it. Because I'm an exercise professional. I always tell that story. If you don't know your stuff, then surely you can't call yourself a professional. And I was already in the exercise, I would call it an industry, because I didn't know my stuff back then. And I was training people and getting paid to train people. And I didn't know enough about the human body I was just regurgitating and repeating other people's opinion. And as I always share, one of my clients came in one day and she was limping and told me that she had an inflamed or torn gracilis. And I didn't know what that was. And I was just so embarrassed. I presumed it was in her leg because she was limping. But that day changed my life. I didn't want to be that stupid exercise person, blonde, dumb female, who called herself something but she didn't know her stuff. So that changed my life. But I then had to deal with, after that day, because I studied and researched and analysed, and there were so many opinions about everything that, what did I do? So I had to learn my anatomy and physiology. So this is an intro to how simple it is to be healthy, to be fit, to be strong, to be lean, to be energetic, to have great self-esteem and self-confidence, to have a fast metabolism. All of the things that happen when your body's in peak physical condition, they're all really exciting. But how do I get my body into peak physical condition is the most simple thing on the planet. And I'm going to repeat something that's really excited me that I just learned recently. Arguably one of the best basketballers in the world, Kobe Bryant. He's no longer with us, but there are people that will definitely stand on their Bible and say he's the best basketballer ever. When somebody watched his training, they would say, wow, Kobe's the best basketballer in the world, and he just does basics. Like, his training is so basic. How come he doesn't do all these complicated exercises? He just does all these. It was almost like a criticism of his training, even though he was the best basketballer in the world. So he was asked, how come you do such basic training? And Kobe's answer was beautiful, and I'm paraphrasing, but if you don't get away from, if you stick to the basics, you'll never have to go back to basics. And basketball is all about basics. Can you throw? Can you defend? Can you attack? And basically, can you score goals? And that's all he studied, because that was what he wanted to be, the best basketballer in the world. Well, it's not, I don't want to take anything away from basketball, but I think that being a healthy, fit, strong human being, being a healthy, fit, strong parent for your kids, teacher for your students, coach for your athletes, boss or leader for your team, that's far more important than a game, surely. So how simple is it? How basic is it to be healthy, fit and strong? And this, what I'm about to share with you, for me, and this is now from my heart to yours, is so simple and so easy. People don't want to do it. I don't know why. And I'm at the point now as an old lady, I actually don't care. Because if you apply what I'm about to share with you, you will be fit, you will be strong, you'll have a fast metabolism, you won't have any challenges with your hormones, menopause, getting old, you'll stay young for a very long time, you'll have a fast metabolism that burns up all the food that you put into your body, because people whinge and moan and complain to me that they love to eat food but they can't have it because it's bad food. Everything gets sorted when you're fit and when you're strong. But the complication comes in, how do I get fit and how do I get strong? And that is the fundamental, easiest part of the whole thing. If you want a fit, strong body, which means everything works well, all the body systems work effectively, from your central nervous system and your brain, endocrine system, your skeletal and muscular system, cardiovascular, respiratory system, your immune system so you don't get sick, your digestive system so that nutrients get out distributed properly throughout your body, your lymphatic system so you stay healthy. Everything works together. When you're fit and strong, all of those systems are fit and strong. It's not that you just, I'm going to have strong muscles so I look good, or I'm going to have a strong heart so I can run. If you're fit and strong, everything works. Now, how do you know that you're fit? You've got a low resting heart rate, and when you put 100% effort into getting puffed, you recover quickly. So that's how you know that you're fit. You know that you're strong and getting stronger, and if you can lift your own body weight off the floor, for instance, not lift your body off the floor, but if you weigh 60 kilos and you can lift 60 kilos up off the floor, that's pretty awesome. Now, there's plenty of stronger people than that. And that's the challenge. If you can lift 60 and you don't get stronger, then you're not going to get stronger, you're going to stay the same. And if you stay the same, you never do as a human, you get weaker. So the only simple thing with strength training, if you want to stay strong, you have to overload your muscles. So whatever you can lift, you have to be able to lift more than that. You have to keep getting stronger. So how simple is that? To get fit, you've got to get puffed. You've got to overload your respiratory and cardiovascular system. You've got to overload your heart and lungs, because otherwise there's no reason for them to get fit. They'll just stay the same. If you want to have strong muscles which pull on your bones, so you've got strong bones, so no osteoporosis, and your immune system's built inside your bones, so if you have a strong immune system, you don't get sick and you can fight germs, bugs, viruses and diseases, you have to overload your muscles. So if you can lift something, and again, it's in the 100% system. So there's so much talk about how long should I exercise for and what exercises should I do. It's irrelevant. If you go back to the basics of how the human body works, there's 3 energy systems. Where do we draw energy from? That's what that's all about. Everything we do requires energy. Whether you are moving your fingers around, or you sit down on a chair, or you eat food, or you garden, or you do high intense activity, martial arts, doesn't matter what you do, everything requires muscle activity, requires energy. So where does the energy come from? And there's 3 energy systems in the body. One is 100% system phosphate. The second is carbohydrate only, lack of or no use of oxygen. You only use carbohydrate, which is the lactate system, which is somewhere, and people argue again, but somewhere between 10 seconds to 2 to 3 minutes. And then your aerobic system, which is what you live in all day long, which is breathe in oxygen, breathe out carbon dioxide, so that your body just can keep moving continuously. That's your aerobic system. So if you want to get fit, you've got to work in the 100% system. If you want to get strong, you've got to work in the 100% system. Or I'll rephrase, why would you work in any other system? If you work at less than 100% effort, surely you're going to get less than 100% result. So to get puffed, you've just got to work at 100%. Now the phosphate system only lasts for 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, those stored phosphates require carbohydrate. After 2 minutes, your body muscles energy system runs out and you have to use oxygen. But and that second system is not at 100% effort. So if you work at 100% effort, it's only 10 seconds. So I'm really sick and tired of hearing about, I haven't got time to exercise. Here's a really harsh comment from a very old lady. If you haven't got 10 seconds to get puffed, you probably deserve to be fat, sick, weak and diseased. 10 seconds is as close to 0 as you can get. But it's the only energy system where you can put in 100% effort, because after 10 seconds, you have to start pacing yourself. You have to start to slow down. So whatever you do, it doesn't matter as long as you get puffed as hard as you possibly can in 10 seconds. So what is it that you like to do? Is it skipping? Is it punching the bag? Is it dancing? Is it running upstairs? Is it running through soft sand? Is it jumping? Doesn't matter what you do, as long as you get puffed and you go as hard as you can for 10 seconds. Now, how long does it take to get your breath back will tell you how fit you are, but you don't go again until you've got your breath back, because you can't go again. Why would you want to go again until you can put in 100% effort? And until you've got your breath back, until you've got your heart rate back to normal, then you can't go at 100% effort. So 10-second bursts of high intense activity throughout the day will keep you fit. What should I do? Doesn't matter. Your heart and lungs are blind. As long as you get puffed for 10 seconds at the highest intensity you can go. And the beautiful thing about that is once you get into the lactate system, you start creating lactic acid, which is a byproduct, a waste product of the lactate system. And you'll actually feel it. It's a burning sensation and it makes some people feel sick. So when you feel that burning start, that's when you stop, because you now know that you're no longer in the phosphate system. So let's wrap that up. Get puffed for 10 seconds multiple times throughout the day to give you a stack of energy to turn your body into a fat burning machine, to keep you really fit, and to keep your head working, because that phosphate system is also about the neurotransmitters in your brain that keep your brain happy. So when you get puffed at 100% effort, your body requires adrenaline, epinephrine, cortisol, so you can go at 100% effort. That's the fight and flight neurotransmitters in your brain and your body. After they have dispersed and you've overcome the threat, you now produce dopamine, serotonin, brain-derived neurotropic factor, endorphins, which are happy drugs. So you can't be depressed. If you get 10-second bursts of activity throughout the day, you can't be depressed, you can't be anxious, you can't be unhappy. And if you feel unhappy or depressed or anxious, go punch a bag, skip, jump, do something for 10 seconds at a high intense 100% effort and you'll feel fantastic. That's how simple it is. So if you're not prepared to do that, then you're probably going to be depressed. If you're not prepared to get puffed for 10 seconds multiple times throughout the day, you're probably going to be overweight and you're not going to be fit, or you'll do it the really long, slow, boring way, which is what I can't understand. If you do something at 50% effort, it's going to take a really long time and it's going to be really boring, which is the aerobic system. Why would you work in the aerobic system when you can work in the phosphate system? So how about that? To get strong is, again, that simple. You've got to overload your muscles and bones at the 100% effort level. So the phosphate system is 10 seconds. Pick up something and lift it as many times as you possibly can in 10 seconds. If you can lift it, keep lifting it after 10 seconds, the weight's too light. You've got to lift a heavier weight. So it's not how many times you lift it technically. It's just, this is my 10 seconds. I'm going to lift as heavy as I possibly can in the phosphate system. Don't stop if you can, keep going. But next time I've got to lift heavier. And then you know that you're getting stronger, because if you can lift heavier, you're obviously getting stronger, which means stronger muscles pulling on stronger bones, which gives you a strong immune system. Your muscles send a message back to your brain. It's called a myokine through the endocrine system to say, this woman's just lifted heavy, this person's just lifted heavy, they've got puffed, they've got to be better for next time. So the brain sends messages to the rest of the body to say, this person wants to get fit and they want to get strong, so get better for next time, which is brain-derived neurotropic factor, which is, again, fertilizer for your brain, another thing that gets produced when you work at 100% effort. So it's a pretty simple process. Get puffed for 10 seconds, lift heavy for 10 seconds. Now, you can get puffed several times throughout the day. It doesn't matter how many times, as long as you recover before you go again. Strength training is a little bit different, because the muscles, when you lift something really heavy, get micro tears in them, and you have to recover, regenerate, and supercompensate. And that's where that thing is, well, how many times a week should I train? How often should I train? How the hell would anybody know? Nobody knows how long your muscles take to recover. You only know that you are ready to train again when you can lift heavier than last time. So if you go to lift something and you lift for 10 seconds, you lift the same number as last time or the same weight as last time, you didn't get any stronger, you didn't supercompensate, so give yourself some more recovery time. So muscles get broken down when you lift heavy. You don't build muscle when you're lifting, you break muscle tissue down, it gets broken little pieces in it, obviously, because you're overloading it. When that recovery process happens, that requires a lot of energy for that to happen, which is why when you do strength, very fast metabolism. But the beautiful thing is that you don't have to do that very often. It's like a service for your car. You don't service your car every day. That would be silly. And the mechanic would look at you and think, what are you doing here again? And that's what I wish a lot of gyms did. What are you doing here again? Your muscles haven't had time to recover. A lot of people talk about split programs. Well, I do one part of my body one day and one part of my body another day. Isn't that just ridiculous? The central nervous system and the endocrine system drive all your muscles and all the systems in your body. So if I'm lifting with my legs, I still have to lift with my hands, because if I pick something up off the ground, I'm still using my arms and my shoulders and my abdominals and my lower back and my upper back. So everything's still working. You can't pick something up off the ground without using your arms. But the thing that gets tired the quickest is your endocrine system and your central nervous system. If they're not recovered, then it doesn't matter what different way you split up your body, you will still be tired and you won't be able to lift heavy. So every so often, and I don't know how often, it could be 5 days, could be 7, depending on how strong you are and what's going on in your life, lift something heavy up off the floor, do it safely so you don't hurt yourself. It's only 10 seconds. It's 1, 2, maybe 3 exercises at the absolute most. The body can push, it can pull, and it can lift something up off the ground. I'm going to stop there because I don't want to make it complicated. I'm an old lady. I'm fitter and stronger than I've ever been. I've been studying anatomy and physiology all of my life. This is not my stuff. This is just how simple it is. Get puffed to be fit. Overload your muscles and bones. Lift heavy to get strong. Then you will have a strong everything and a happy brain, because the chemicals in your brain will be different. Serotonin is a satisfaction neurotransmitter. Dopamine is a I feel fantastic, rewarded neurotransmitter. Everything works together. To do what I share every day is live your life to the max. If you want to live your life to the average, if you want to live your life to the ordinary, if you want to live your life to the slow results, then by all means do that. That's none of my business. But that's how simple it is, and I want our kids to know that. If you get puffed, you will get fit. If you overload your muscles and bones, you'll get strong. If you do it safely, in movement patterns that won't put shearing forces through your joints and screw up your joints, then you won't get injured, and you can be a healthy, fit, strong human being for the rest of your life. You could actually live your life to the max.